Hey guys, so I've had a lot of fun talking with you about EDC and carry items over the last month or so, and I wanted to put a video together that shows kind of some of the unusual EDC items that I think are pretty handy. During the winter, I wear a lot of layers. I usually have a vest that has a lot of different things in it, but even, just having a hoodie and a shirt and some different things allows you an opportunity to carry some extra things. So I think our standard like EDC stuff, you got your wallet and your keys, right? You've got your phone. I'm gonna put like sunglasses, watch on there as well, and then a pocket knife. And that's kind of, I think, what we consider like the basics, right? If we go beyond that, we're usually considering things like flashlights there, possibly little pry bars, and then a pen. So we're going to consider 10 items that aren't those, and then I'll throw you one bonus as well that are good items to consider for everyday carry. All right, item number one is a little charge cable for your phone, just a spare cable. I don't find it necessary to carry the plug-in. Usually what happens is if I need to borrow a charger or something like that, someone might not have my type of connection for my phone, but they usually have something I can borrow. And then realistically, as the newer things are built, USBs are coming standard in a lot of just outlets and around. I can usually find somewhere to plug in just if I have this. It's also very small. It doesn't take up a lot of space, so I find it's very simple to carry. It's nice to have around, and the errant time where I've had to end up waiting in a doctor's office or something like that for a few hours that I wasn't expecting. I at least can have my phone charged. Number two is going to be cable ties. This is something that I carry and I find a lot of use for. I live on a small farm. I have this in my vest pocket or, a jacket pocket. And I often run across things that I need to fix, like right now, gates, parts of fences, different things that I can usually rig it together with this. I also just have a little paracord wrapped around it as well. And I put that together, and then that holds it so I can come back and fix it well later. Like today, it is pouring rain. If I found something that, fence latch or something like that was broken and I just needed to hold it closed, I could do that with this and then come out when it's a little bit drier and take care of it. So I find a lot of different uses for these. There's a lot of different things that you can do with cable ties, and different things, but I find them very handy. So I always carry some. Mine are pretty big and excessive because like I said, I'm doing like fence repair with them 9 times out of 10. But you can carry smaller ones. You can put them in, different kits. Throw one in your wallet. I often will find a use for these guys. Have you ever rubbed your eyes and your contact falls out on the ground and you look at it and go, wow, how am I going to drive myself home now? I carry eye drops, and you can clean contacts with eye drops if you need. Also, if my eyes get really dry, or even if you don't wear contacts and you get poked in the eye or need to flush your eye out, eye drops are super useful. I always try to keep some close by. So I have usually some on my person, but some in my car, some in my office, etc. All right, next up, first aid kit. I like this little clamshell pocket one. There's a lot of different ways to carry a first aid kit. I carry a hard style one because I'll show you something else that I use that I keep in it here in a minute. But among other things, like I have a 2-year-old and we are very active and we like to run around and we go places, and he likes to explore and he falls over and whatnot. And sometimes just having a Band-Aid on hand is super nice. Also has like little things, like I have a little tweezer in there. I've got some alcohol prep pads, I've got some gauze, just really basic stuff. But having it on hand, especially if you're out in, the outdoors, running around and whatnot, having one of these is pretty handy. Otherwise, having a larger first aid kit close by is something better. But this one comes in handy in a pinch. And it's very nice if we're going somewhere where it's not very quick to get to a bigger first aid kit. So I mentioned I have the hard first aid kit because I keep something in it. The thing that I keep in it is a little thing of super glue. Little thing of super glue can come in handy. Don't confuse this one with your eye drops, by the way. But I keep it in there so I don't end up, gluing myself to myself. Kind of stays nice in there, and then it's protected even if I accidentally sit on it or this gets stepped on or something like that. Super glue, it's one of those things, comes in handy in a variety of different times and places. It's like the zip tie. Sometimes something just needs to be glued. Also, super glue in a pinch can be used for wound closure, which is kind of nice as well. All right, next one, drugs. I always like to have some like cold medicine on hand, maybe some Benadryl, sore throat drops, things of that nature. There's nothing worse than when you're somewhere and you start to feel that sickness come on, and by the time you get somewhere to take pills or buy pills or whatever, you're just absolutely freaking dead. So I can't have that happen. So I just carry drugs with me at all times, just in case, and they do come in handy. It's probably the thing that I'm most thankful for carrying at certain times of the year. Another thing that's important about that is you don't want to be taking expired drugs. I rotate what I'm wearing. Actually, every day I change what I'm wearing, but every season, like I said, I hoodie and vest and a jacket is sort of very typical this time of year, so I have things in different pockets in that. But when I get into summer, I'll go through all that stuff, and on all these, a lot of times I'm taking out empty ones, but I'll check dates and make sure everything's in date there. Most drugs, when they're out of date, they just become less potent, and it's not a huge deal. But some drugs turn into poisons, so avoid taking expired medication. That's your PSA. So the next one's kind of interesting. I like to carry lock picks with me at all times. During the winter, I carry this kit. This is a new kit. I got this one because it was on sale by this company called Sparrows. They're all over TikTok and whatnot, but I got it because the kit that I had before was this one, which is very nice, but you can see it's a lot thicker. And it's a little bit taller, so this one just fit into a pocket better. And honestly, after playing with it for a while, these picks are way nicer than these picks. So if anyone wants to buy my old lockpick set, it's still pretty good. So if I am not carrying this, like I said, I have a smaller kit in my wallet, but on this one, I'll show you this because it's winter and this is what I'm carrying. There's a couple little extras that are not in my small kit. My small kit that's in the wallet just has picks. This has a couple of bypass tools. This is to get through like a locked door. It also has a card version of that. The other thing I have in here that's really nice is I have some tweezers. I also have little tweezers in my first aid kit. I also have tweezers on a Swiss Army knife. Tweezers are a huge thing that I think is important for everyday carry. Like, you will find uses for tweezers, so I carry 3 pairs of them apparently. But then it's got your tension wrenches and whatnot, and then it's got this, and this is what comes in handy I feel like the most. These are like these little picks here that particularly work on like tool chests and file cabinets, things of that nature, which sometimes even just around when I'm going through stuff on my property, I come across a lock that I have no idea where the key is, and those have actually come in handy pretty well. I find that if you spend some time and just learn how to basically open a very simple locks, just simple padlocks and simple door locks, it's worthwhile to carry these because you're gonna come into a situation where you will be thankful you did. And again, I'm not advocating like breaking in and stealing people's stuff. I'm saying entry on stuff that you own or need to get it to, or need to get access for a friend, and you have permission to do so. We had a thing at my work not too terribly long ago where we lost all of our computers, went down, we lost our networks, and we had to contact clients, but we couldn't get into the computer to find their info. But we did have our shred bin, and our shred bin is locked. And unfortunately, there was no way to get into it because it was like a Friday, and the company that we'd have to call wouldn't be there and have somebody out until like Tuesday or Wednesday. And we needed to call and let our clients for like Monday and Tuesday know that we couldn't service them because we had no computers. I picked that lock and we called everybody, and it was great, and it saved a ton of people a lot of hassle of driving out to see us and us going like, we can't do anything for you. And it, it also saved me several $100s for having that company come out early. So that was one situation in the last year where I was very thankful that I had lock picks, and I've spent a tiny amount of time investing in that skill. Now, more commonly what will happen is I will find something that I threw a padlock on a couple years ago, and I put the key, like, oh, I'm going to put the key right here and I'll always know where it is. Usually like exterior gate things or a lock on a chain where we were, putting goats or something stupid, and it's just like, oh man, I don't know where the key to this is. But I tend to buy cheap master locks that I know I can pick for that particular reason. So lock picks for me have always kind of come in handy. The entry tools don't come in handy a whole ton, but again, like when you find yourself in the situation you need them, it's great to have them. So I'm a big lock pick fan. I always have lock picks. Also the picks themselves, every now and then you're like, oh man, if I had some tiny instrument to just maneuver this thing, oh, I have a lock pick that'll do exactly that. So lock picks are my next one. So I mentioned I'm a big fan of fix it now so I can come back and fix it later. Another thing that plays into that is tape. Duct tape or duct tape is a little bit too big and bulky to carry. I find that gaff tape or electrical tape here just works out really well. It'll stick to itself, so it's again, I'm using it like I would use like rope or a zip tie. Sometimes I'm reinforcing a zip tie with it. Sometimes I really have to deal with electrical, so it comes in handy as well. But it's just a little roll of tape. Again, this is like, do I carry this with me in the summer when I'm wearing like shorts and a t-shirt? No. But when I have, a hoodie and a vest and a jacket, having tape, I even carry a tape measure that I'm not showing you guys because I think the tape's more useful than that. But this is another kind of unusual EDC item that I think is really useful. This might be a bit controversial of an opinion, but I think multi-tool pliers suck. I hate them. I've never found the pliers to be very useful, and I end up futzing with them until I go and get myself a real plier, until I started carrying this. This is just a tiny, channel lock offset plier. This is a 4-inch one. I actually got this one this year because I found out they made a 4-inch and I previously had a 5-inch. So this one is, it's small, it fits in really good. It's way smaller than one of those plier multi-tools, and it works as a plier. This is a great plier. I think this is like $14 on Amazon. Well worth it. Do you remember a few years ago when they had those fidget spinner things? I never got really into those, but I am a fidgeter. So sometimes I like to have just a fidget toy. This is one by Oceanus Brass, and it's got magnets, and it just slides like that. That's all it does. But it's nice, and sometimes I get frustrated or upset with something, or I am stuck in traffic or some other thing, and I just need a mindless activity to keep my sanity. Enter the fidget toy. So having something like that, I think can be useful. There's a lot of things that fit that bill. Sometimes your pocket knife or whatnot will fit that bill, but I like shiny brass objects, so this is a shiny brass object that I like to fidget with. So that's 10 items that are a little bit unusual for EDC. Now, you might find that you do not have the space in the pockets and the real estate to carry all those items, or you might find that several of those items aren't useful for you. Like I said, I run into a lot of situations where I need cable ties. I am always thankful to have eye drops around. I love my lock picks, but this is me, and we're talking about for you. But these are just items that I want you to consider. As a bonus, every now and then I'm in a situation where like I have to go to my wife's work event where I know nobody. In situations like that, I like to carry a what's it, or if we're just going somewhere different when I don't carry a what's it. A what's it is just kind of like random things that might tell a story, or you might be able to show people, or sometimes might even be able to like give them away. Some different examples. Sometimes I carry a challenge coin from my days in the 501st Legion. It can be a cool conversation starter. Sometimes I'll carry like a whiskey stone, for no apparent reason. Sometimes I'll carry like a packet trick or a magic a card or a gaff deck or something like that. A packet trick is just this might be a full deck of cards, but anyway, it's something where you can just do a magic trick. I find if I need to exit a conversation, all of a sudden whipping out a deck of cards and being like, oh, let me show you guys a magic trick here, right? That's like, have you ever heard about how sneaky the Queen of Spades is? You can put her in the deck there, and you can slap the deck, and she'll come right back on top. You can slide her in the bottom right there, and then she comes back right on top of the deck. Some trick, some silly thing like that can kind of move a conversation in a different direction, show something, get you to exit. I have a bunch of different various packet tricks, a lot of ones that are smaller than that. This is just something that was out in the shop. Another thing I like to carry is I like to carry this Billy Ripken baseball card. And like if you know, it's a very funny baseball card because there's something printed on it that is kind of obscene. And I am not a big fan of the Ripkens, so I like to carry that also as like, hey, did you ever know about this Billy Ripken card? Well, I happen to have it right here. So having some kind of conversation starter, or what's it, like if you're going to those social situations, honestly, take the time to learn a magic trick. Maybe that's something I'll post on the channel. It's just some review of some packet tricks or whatnot that are pretty easy to do, because a lot of times they can be really fun, especially if you go somewhere where there's kids that you might have to talk to. And I find that kids are very easy to entertain and often way more fun to hang out with than their taller counterparts. So anyway, those are some uncommon EDC items that you should give consideration to carrying around in your day-to-day life.